You probably hit this channel because you've seen the title in regards to credit card debt. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to tell you a little about myself, and then we're going to get into it. I can't say how long this video is going to go on for, but I would like you, if possible, to stick it out and listen to what I have to say. And hopefully you'll get something out of this video when it's over. There's also two movies that, if you have the time to check it out, they were PBS, and one of them was The Secret History of the Card and the Card Game, and the person that you probably will familiarize yourself with is Elizabeth Warren, who back then in those two documentaries was a Hofstra law professor, and she talks a little about it. Now, we're not going to watch the whole movies, of course. I don't even think it's going to be like a 4-hour video here. I'm just going to play the first, beginning of it, and then the rest is up to you whether you want to watch it or not. But the reason why I'm making this video, folks, is I think sometimes we get too caught up with ourselves when it comes to credit card debt. And the reason why I'm also bringing this up is because I had a situation like that, and I'm not ashamed to, share it with you guys, because I do like to share, and I am a caring person, and I don't want to see people go through the same scenarios that I went through. A lot of people my age, and you could probably take a guess, but I don't want to spill the beans, but a lot of people today don't have enough money to save up for retirement, and that's sad, and that goes for a lot of people. And I was looking at cardrates.com, and do you know that the total U.S. debt for credit card debt in the U.S. is over 830 billion. That's billion with a B, not million, billion. And I'm sure it's going to keep rising as time goes on. Next to that is, I think, the student loans, if my memory serves me right. I got into a situation because during my time, working for big corporations on here in New York, I have been captive to the credit card companies at one point because I had 2 company layoffs and 1 company bankrupt. And the thing is, what people don't realize, and I've seen it with friends and family and family members, that when everything is going good, we're not thinking about saving for a rainy day, putting that money away for emergency purposes. Some people live for today. Live for today and don't worry about tomorrow. And that's a bad attitude to have, folks. And how I got myself into it is not because of I want to go out and splurge and spend. I'm a person, as you know, those who follow me on this channel, I am a frugal entrepreneur, but I also buy out of necessity. I remember one time when I was working in the corporate world, I didn't realize it. A person realized that, one of my coworkers, and I just happened to sit down. I wear these black work dress shoes, and I didn't notice the bottom of the heel was wearing. And the coworker turned around and said, "Oh my gosh," she goes, "it looks like you're getting a hole in the sole of your shoe there." So I go, I didn't even take notice of it. I mean, who sits there looking at the bottom of your soles every day, when you're getting dressed and going to work? And so the person's like, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "Well, there's 2 things I could do. If they're expensive shoes, like Bostonians or Johnston & Murphy's, you can get them resoled, have a new sole put on them, or a new heel, I should say, whatever. And or go out and buy another pair for $150, $200, whatever it is." So my coworker asked me, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Most likely I'm going to get them resoled." And there's a repair shop, there's a shoe repair that does it. It's not actually the resoled, not taking the sole off, but they they put on there a new heel. So where the part's worn, they sand it down, I guess, and they glue a new heel. It's like brand new again. Excuse me. So I did that for $45, and to me it was well worth to spend it, rather than spending another $100 and something for Bostonian shoes or Johnston & Murphy's. I buy a necessity, and I do things out necessity. And when I lost my job, well, back then the jobs were not consecutive, but they were all spaced apart in years. The first time I lost my job was due to a layoff, and I had credit cards. Not a lot, but enough to keep me in debt. And I remember working, I had one with Chase, and there was quite a large amount of credit loan on it, credit card amount, and I couldn't make the monthly payments they wanted. So what I did was I had called the bank up and said, listen, can you guys work with me? I said, I'm collecting unemployment. I lost my job due to a layoff. I can't meet those payments every month, let alone the high interest rate they were charging. So they were able to work a program. They called it back then the balance liquidation program. I don't know if it's still in existence. It may be, it may not. But they were able to work it out with a low interest rate, and I was to pay that amount, a certain amount that was comfortable for me for the life of the loan until it was paid off. It took 5 years, exactly 5 years to pay it off. And when I wrote that last check out, I was so happy. I mean, believe me, I was so relieved to get that debt off my shoulders. And that's the problem. We want to spend. We go on our computers, we shop online, and we're the ones that create our own debt. What they say, the debitor becomes a slave to the borrower, something along that line. I think it's even in the Bible too. Not that I talk about religion, but I think that's even in the Bible as well. So we do tend to get ourselves in debt. It's like, you get a credit card, you apply for a credit card, and you get a certain amount on there. And, right away people think that's the green light to go out and spend. And what happens is you get tempted. And right away, the things when you didn't have that credit card, you never bought, you didn't buy them, you didn't think about it. But now you got this credit line, $5,000, $10,000, whatever, credit line. You always wanted that high-end computer. Like me, I like my tech toys, right? Or my digital video cameras and stills and video cameras, whatever. I like the digital photography. And the first thing you're thinking of is, when I grew up, my parents were very conservative. I come from humble beginnings. Father worked hard. He didn't have an easy job. And he would say, when you want things in life, you work and save for it. So at the age of 17 years old, needless to say, I was working a part-time job in a restaurant as a dishwasher. I was 17, still going to school. It was a high school job. But I learned back then at an early age the value of the dollar bill. And my father said to me, the way he did it in life is the way you got to do it. Now, our parents do try to provide for us, and they did. They provide food, clothing, and shelter. Okay, they did more than enough. We never walked around in rags. We always had food on the table. We always had a roof over our head. Thank God for my mom and dad. They also taught me to be independent. And being independent, meaning you have your own things. My mother used to say your wallet's your best friend, meaning that when you have your own money, you feel independent. If you want to go out, buy yourself a hamburger or whatever it is, some little thing that'll make you happy, you could do it. Independence is important, and a lot of people that don't really think too much about independence is a bad thing, because it helps you grow up. And that's how I ended up growing up and putting money away at an early age. And the thing I'm trying to get across is, folks, is that when you have too many credit cards, you put such a burden on you. And and here's how it affects you, folks, what people don't realize. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. This video basically is just to enlighten, to share my experience, and to try to throw it out there for other people. But when you go for loans, car loans, even apply for credit cards or whatever it may be, other credit cards, the banks, or like even a mortgage, or they're going to look at your income per debt ratio. And if you only make so much money coming in every month, the companies who you're dealing with, you're applying for a loan, they're gonna look at that. They're gonna see your credit score, the FICO score, and if you're 30 days, 60 days. I worked in finance, and I used to work very closely with the finance managers. And the company I worked for, they would they would issue credit based on their payment schedule. If you were 30 days late, 60 days, or 90 days, 90 days you would get declined. They wouldn't even bother. But the thing is, when you go to these places and you sit down and you willfully know that your credit may be shot, and you're sitting there, they're going to do a credit report on you anyway. They'll tell you, we're going to run a credit report on you. So the most, the first thing I always do is I just give them a front thing. I just tell them, well, I'll be honest with you, I had 2 job losses, 1 bankruptcy, and my credit score might not be that good. And they'll say, well, we'll see what it is. Sometimes the companies may work with you, even if you have a low FICO score, they may give it to you. You're not going to get the best rates. That's the point I'm getting across. Me, as opposed to somebody that has an 800, 850 score or 755 score, I am going to get, and if it's a little bit below that, I am going to get the worst interest rate that you could imagine. That also goes on credit cards. And how do I know that? Because when I go with my own bank, when I don't deal with commercial banks, I deal with my own personal banking is a credit union. I don't deal with commercial banks. The only time I deal with commercial banks is when I had those charge cards, Chase, Bank of America, and so on and so forth. Needless to say, they're all closed and paid. But I don't deal with those commercial banks on that level, as far as where I do my savings and banking and all that stuff. I deal with the credit union. Anyway, so that's going to affect you. And people don't realize that. And the thing that becomes more of a burden is if you could have it maintained, if we could all control our spending habits, okay? We all the problem is, folks, we all want things and we don't want to wait for it. We don't want to wait. Like, in other words, if you're making the next amount of money every month and you say, well, I want to get that high-end computer, I'm using that as an example, or that iPhone. And I had to I had to sock away $200 a month at that there, and within, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, within 12 months or 10 months, I'll have that phone. But you want it right now. You don't want to wait 10 months, 12 months to save that money. You want it now. I got the credit card. I got a credit. I can buy it. But the thing you don't realize is, people don't realize is, when you're whipping that card out and you're making that purchase for that item, you just opened the door to Pandora's box. And once you get into that credit cycle where it's a revolving credit and you got to make those monthly bills every month, you're gonna be upset with yourself, and especially if your credit score is not good and you get a high interest rate on a credit card. Now, my little tip to share with people, and I know that a lot of companies may not like it, but you can do it for yourself. Find out for yourself. Check it for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it, but check it for yourself. Department store credit cards usually charge more interest on their revolving credit than as opposed to a bank or my credit union or something like that, along that line. The bank cards, like when you're dealing with your own personal banking, you get better rates. I know that because I deal with the credit union. I get pretty good rates. But when you go to stores like big department, so I don't want to mention names, but when you go to big department stores, if you look at their interest rates before you sign that card, read the fine print, I should say, and look at their interest rates. Now, if you're a person that goes to a department store or whatever, and you sign up for a credit card and you see their interest rates are very high and they're 18%, 17%, whatever they are, but you're a person that wants to pay that off every month, that particular bill, then it's not going to affect you. Okay? The only time it's going to affect you is if you go revolving. And that's where the problems arise, because with revolving credit cards, the interest rate compounds depends. Now, I understand, it's also based on the market too. I could be wrong with that, but that's what I thought. One credit representative told me one time. It's also based on the market. So, if you have a credit card with a certain interest rate or whatever, it can go up. If you get a chance, now, on those shows I'm going to talk about, one I think came out in 2004 and the other one was 2009. And in those videos, you got to try to watch them and pay attention. Take notes, whatever. I did. I watched them a long time ago. Needless to say now, because I did follow some of the information in there, and it was very good information. Okay, I was able to alleviate all my credit cards. I have 2 credit cards actually. I have one secured MasterCard, which is good. I got that at my local credit union where I bank with. And how that works is the secure MasterCard is great to have if you're a person that has so-so credit. My credit score before I had any problems, and I'm not ashamed to share it with you guys, was like almost going up to 700, and it was almost 775 or something along that line. It took a little dip when I had to cut back on payments, but I explained to them, and now it came back up again. It took a little dip, but like I said again, it did eventually come back. I'm back to where I should be. And the other credit card, anyway, with the secure MasterCard is, if you want to build your credit up, if you're a newbie, that's coming into the picture. You know, you want to get a credit card. And for parents who want to get their kids involved with the credit cards, if you're going to start them off with it, start them off with a secured credit card. Now, the one I have is a secured master credit card. You started off, the minimum on my bank is $250. If you exhaust the $250, your monthly payment will be, like I set my daughters up when they were little, at $15 a month. Basically, you're borrowing your money, but you're paying yourself back with interest, though. Keep that in mind. The interest rate is very low, as I understand. I believe it's very low. That's a good way to establish the credit, to get yourself back in there. Because this is what it is, folks. Credit card companies want to see a pay history. You know, I paid all my, well, after I got back on my feet again, whatever little credit card, I still have that card, that little $250 credit card. I use that. And I have a debit card for my checking account. You know, what goes, whatever money's in there, whatever, you know, it gets the direct deposit, it goes in there, and that's what I use. I don't use, per se, credit cards anymore. I have one credit card that has a nice credit line on it, and I also have a line of credit too. But I don't use those cards. They're locked up in a safe box. I don't use them. I don't take them out. They're extremely, you know, those are for extreme emergency purposes only. Okay, and the other thing I want to share, talking about spending money with credit cards and stuff like that, another thing people don't really think about, folks, is, you know, when you go on that vacation, you ever hear people saying, I'm going on vacation, I'm going to go to Hawaii, I'm going here, I'm going to go, you know, whatever, Europe and stuff. This is another way how people get buried in debt. When you book your flight, your hotel, depending where you go, in Hawaii, wherever you're traveling, you're going to Europe, whatever. When you're whipping that card out, think about this first. When you're whipping that card out, and you're thinking about taking an extravagant trip, and it's just either you, your husband, or your family, and that trip is going to cost you X amount of thousands of dollars. And I'm talking thousands, I'm not talking hundreds, I'm talking thousands of dollars. You're going to have that card, you're going to have, for that 1 week that you're there, or 2 weeks. When you come back home, yes, enjoy that vacation. Enjoy it. But when you come back home, and you get that bill every month, now, unless you pay it off, unless you're a very well-to-do person, which I know there's plenty out there, you get that bill, and you write a check out for whatever it is, that amount, you're okay. But if you're going to have that bill for the next 12 months, 6, whatever, 2 years, whatever it is, you're gonna regret it. And I'm not. Now people say, "What are you telling me?" You're saying, so in other words, don't ever go on a trip. Don't take. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to say people bury themselves. They get themselves so up to here in debt because they're not thinking ahead of themselves. For example, here's the thing. You take a trip like that. Let's say your person says, every year I want to go on vacation. Okay? Now, some people will sit there and say, well, we can't do it this year because last year's trip. But suppose you're a person that has a nice credit line and you say, you know what? We could do this trip. We could do it a little cheaper. Now, you just spent $3,000 last year going to it, and you took a trip or wherever. And now you're saying, okay, well, we could do it again. We're going to go, this time we'll do a little cheaper. We'll go on this trip here for $2,000 instead of $3,000, whatever it was. So now you incurred a $5,000 debt. You're with the same credit card company, right? Only God knows what your interest rates are. Maybe you have a good FICO score. You got a very low interest rate. It doesn't bother you. But how people get entrapped in that stuff is we don't think long term. When I had my credit card debt, you're making decent money back in those days, and you're saying to yourself, well, I buy this, and I buy a necessity, and I did. A lot of that money, excuse me, the reason why I got a lot of my credit card debt is because I had old cars. It seemed like every week something was going on, and it weren't small bills. It wasn't a $20 bill, $50 bill. It was always hundreds of dollars, $500, $200, $300. Sometimes I had the car. It was an old car, and I kept putting, like my family said, you're putting good money into an old car. It's not worth it. Never had a brand new car. And that's why I incurred a lot of debt. Outside of, doing other stuff around the house, if your appliances need, you end up getting yourself in debt. Not because you want to, it's because things happen in life. We all know that. But the thing is, what compounds that more is when you're incurring debt like that, and then you got more on top of it, you feel like you can't get out of it. Now, I don't want to dwell too much on it. I just want to go to a couple of websites, talk a little about them. I want to show you those videos, just the introductories on those videos. I get the links. I'll drop the links in the link below, and you can check them out for yourself. Even though they're from 2004, 2009, if you got the time, check them out. Seriously, if you're a person that's concerned about your credit card debt, check them out. And for people such as myself who are getting older and getting close to retirement, the best thing to do is liquidate your credit card debt. Get rid of it. Okay, get rid of that credit card debt. Because let me tell you, folks, if you don't have a pension and you're collecting Social Security, if that extra, and sometimes Social Security benefits ain't that great. I mean, I know people that get hundreds of dollars a month. Maybe people might get over 15 or 2,000, whatever it is. Today in this day and age, that's not enough to survive. To be honest with you, it's not enough to really live. I mean, you could, but it'd be. I don't know where you would live, but I'm in New York, and the rents out here are astronomical. So the last thing you need to have when you get ready to retire is debt. Okay, and let me tell you something. If you're a person that doesn't plan, like they say, those who fail to plan to fail, you're going to be sweating it out during retirement age, even more. Even though you say, well, I don't have credit card debt and I'm still not bringing enough money in. Well, that's why we're in a situation right now, all of us, where a lot of people are working older. People ain't retiring. I don't know if I'm going to retire at 65. I may retire at 75. I don't know where I don't know what the story's going to be right now. I don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows. Tomorrow's promised to no man. You know that. So the thing I'm trying to say is, if you're collecting Social Security, you don't want to have a $400 a month bill coming in every month for your credit card debt. Now, add that on. You know what I'm saying? And depending where you're living. And these are things people don't think about, folks. And I'm not saying not to live, enjoy life, but you know what? We're in such everything is so high priced. Food, I see it all the time. And a friend at work brought this up to me a long time ago before I got laid off my job. We were talking about it. If you notice food stores, you're paying more and you're getting less. Seriously, think about it. Think about what you paid years ago. And people say, well, come on, you don't expect things to stay. No, I don't expect. I'm not saying things are going to stay the same. But if you look at it, though, the only way you will get good deals, though, I have to honestly say, is if you go to the dollar store and you buy some of your stuff there. Honestly, I know it sounds crazy, but everything is in that store is $1. But it's true. Today in this day and age, it's hard sometimes for people to make ends meet. That's why go to stores in your own town, wherever you live, whatever city you're living in, country, city, whatever. Take notice of the people that are in the stores. They're older people, late 50s, late 60s. Well, you're not supposed to. You're not going to retire at 50 anyway. But I'm just saying. But there's people older, working, and they're working at jobs where sometimes I'm not saying it's to be funny, but teenagers would work them. Would take these jobs. But older people do it because they have to supplement their income. Folks, I'm saying this, I'm doing this video because I care and I want to share this information with people. It's a nice day today. It's a sunny day. It's 75 degrees. People may say, what are you wasting your time sitting in front of a webcam and you're doing a video like this? Who cares? No one's probably going to even watch this video. But you know what? That's up to them. See, because regardless whether people watch my videos or not, I'm still going to keep making them. I'm going to keep creating these videos. And eventually, somebody will watch these videos, and hopefully they'll get a takeaway from it. Yes, I know I don't have to make these videos, but I like doing them, and I like helping people out. I always say if I can't help a person out monetarily, at least I could help them out sharing information that may be viable to them, that may help, a little tidbit of information. Even if one person or two people get a takeaway from it, I don't know, maybe hundreds of people, whoever watches it, I don't know. But if I get a couple people that watch these videos and say, hey, you know what, I like a video, I got something out of it. Thank you for sharing. A lot of people make videos for all different reasons. There's how-to videos, do-it-yourself videos. I like to make videos where I could share with people. I mean, they're sharing too. I mean, they're sharing their knowledge, their experiences and stuff like that. But I want to share stuff too with people. So that's why I do these videos. But anyway, I just want to touch bases on a couple of these websites here, and then I want to just talk about those, go into those movies. And I really do hope that you guys out there who's watching these can watch these documentaries. If you could, take the time and watch them and listen to them closely. Even they say, yeah, but it's old news, but the old news could still be the same. Let me share this with you. Back in the day, when we used to get the credit card statements? Well, Elizabeth Warren in one of the shows, I don't know if it was A Secret History of the Cards or the Card Game, in one of those shows, she said in there, why don't the banks put in little lettering, words right there, a little caption where it says, if you make the minimum payment, it's going to take you X amount of years, not months, years to pay off this bill. This way, it gives the consumer a heads up and say, wait a minute, if I buy that $1,000 iPhone and I'm using this credit card, it's going to take me 5 years to pay it off, or whatever. We're talking minimum payment. I'm talking small minimum payments. I'm talking about a payment that might be, let's say, $25 a month. All right, I'm going to give you a quick example. I'm going to share this with you. I don't care. Like I said, I'm not. You could take it. You take it for what it's worth. I had a Goodyear card for my car because I had, like I said, an old car, and I owed $500 on it. $500. Okay, $500. Out of the minimum payment, mind you, folks, it was $25. And you want to hear the funny thing about it? You want to know how long that was going to take? $15 out of that 25, $15 went for interest and $10 went for principal. Now, if my memory serves me right, or if I'm wrong, correct me, it was going to take, for a $500 loan, $500, minimum $25 payment, with 15%, with $15 going to interest and $10 going to the principal. It was going to take me 5 years to pay that off. I didn't even computate the interest in there. You could figure it out for yourself. What I did was, when I was working, I got that statement in the mail, and after I did the figuring and stuff like that, I said, they are out of their mind. You think, even they see you, but it's a $25 bill. Come on, 25 bucks is 25 bucks. I wrote them a nice little check. Back then I had the money. I said, I wrote them a check for $500. I said, balance paid in full. I wrote a little on the statement. I wrote it across the statement. Close this account effective immediately. Cut the card up. I shredded it. I didn't put it in there because anybody can get the card and go through the mail. I shredded the card. I gave them their check. Wrote on there paid in full. Close this account effective immediately. When I heard it was going to take me 5 years to pay a $500 loan off, and then compounded interest on a monthly, I said there was no way it was going to happen, folks. That's the point I'm trying to get across. And here's the thing. If you have multiple credit cards, you might say, yeah, but if you only have that one, you're only paying $20 a month, so what's the big deal? Multiply that by if you have 5 credit cards, or 7 credit cards, or 8. And let's say they're all based on a $25 credit line, $25 minimum payment. Figure out all that money every month that's going out to them, to those banks, to the credit card companies, should say. Figure out all the interest that's going to each and every one of those credit cards. And figure out your monthly bill with all those credit cards. And folks, what happens is it snowballs and it goes on. And then what happens is people exhaust those credit cards. The credit line is shot. The bank is not giving you any more credit. You exhausted it. So what do? You apply for another credit card. You exhaust that one, you apply for another one. And this is how it snowballs. And this is why people get themselves in debt. If you watch the show, their credit card history, both of those are one of them, they will tell you people that have thousands and thousands, I don't know if one of them said they had $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in credit card debt. My God. If it was going to take me 5 years to pay off a $500 credit card, could you imagine having $60,000 or $70,000. You'll see the movie. I know it's up there. Could you imagine and making minimum payments on that, folks? Most people won't live to pay those off if you pay minimum. And I'm being serious. You get a person, let's say I'm 60 years old, 75 or 60, 65 years old, and I jack a big credit card bill up, right? Let's say I'm 70, all right? I jack a credit card bill up. Or you might say, well, you should be spending money. But let's just say people do. Things happen. And it's thousands of dollars. Do you know if looking at that statement, it's going to say, if it said it'll take you 25 years to pay this off, 20 years, I might not be around 25 or 20 years to pay that off. You get the drift? You see what I'm talking about? This is the point I'm getting across. And people, my daughters get upset. Oh, Dad, you're always talking about credit because I don't want to see my daughters go through the same thing I went through. Not that's a bad thing. Things are my fault. It wasn't mine. I didn't lose my job because of I got fired or I did anything wrong. The companies had layoffs. There was 2 company layoffs, and 1 company went bankrupt. It's not my fault. I didn't get fired. My family knows that. It's not like maybe I quit my job. I didn't say when he said, oh, I got a credit card debt. I'm going to quit my job. I don't care. No, it was nothing like that sort. But this is what I'm trying to say, folks. Outside of all the stuff going out there, I know there's other videos, other guys out there probably talking about credit cards and stuff like that, but you landed on this channel. I don't know if you're probably a follower, maybe you are, maybe you just stumbled onto it. And for those who are new subscribers to my channel, thank you very much. I notice it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. Maybe people don't like my channel, maybe don't like the content they put out. That's totally up to you. Like I always said again, I'm a real genuine person, and I'm going to keep making videos. Whether I'd lose a lot of subscribers or not, it doesn't matter. It's not going to stop me from making videos. I don't care if it goes back down to 0 when I first started. I don't really care in that respect, because I'm going to keep making videos, and I'm going to keep caring for people out there and sharing. That's what these videos are, caring and sharing. I like to share information with people. If I can't help out monetarily, I'm going to help out, with the things I know I come across. And things that are life experience. Okay, so let's get to it. Let me bump out of here. I'm going to go here, and we're going to take it right over here for now. Here's what I was talking about, folks. This I got a couple of things listed up here, as you can see. This one here is for 2018. It's from cardrates.com. This way I'm not just throwing numbers out there. I always tell people out there, I get my information from sources. I don't just make these things up. You could see it was posted. I know it's a little outdated over here. Well, it's still May. It's May 8, 2018. This is the person who I guess wrote it. See here, folks. Total U.S. credit card debt is over $830 billion. Okay. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing. As people know who do follow me on this channel, I don't read verbatim the whole thing. You could see it for yourself. Because if I keep reading this here, we keep going on, I'm just going to talk a little about the different other sites, and then I want to get into those videos, and I want to try to make this short. Well, it's not. I can't say short, because every time I say short, it always turns out to be a lot longer. You could check this out. Go to cardrates.com, or if not, just type it, do a Google search, and type in, if you want to read it, 2018 credit card debt statistics. Okay. And this is what it is right here. And again, it's not coming out of my mouth. This is what I pulled off of cardrates.com. Okay, so now you see, you could check that out for yourself. Okay, now here I came across this here in regards to debt consolidation programs. If you are a person that is in heavy debt and you need to check into somehow to help you out, here's the ones that this company, Top Consumer, I think it says Consumer Reviews. I don't know. I guess it's Consumer Company. This is what they talked about. Okay, you got National Debt, Cura Debt, Lending Tree, Care One, Lending Club, Avant, Ameridebt, Enders, One Main Financial, and Debt Cons Care. Apparently, the #1 came at National Debt Relief. Folks, if you're really buried in debt, credit card debt, if you could work, well, first, here's my first suggestion. If you could work it out where you could call the companies up, if you have a lot of credit cards, or if you just have a couple of them, you could call those credit card companies up. Let's say you got Bank of America or Chase Bank or whatever. You could call them up. if you're in a situation like mine, where you got laid off or the company went bankrupt, you could explain to them, tell them that, you know, and be cordial. Don't sit there yelling at them, whatever. Just say, look, let's say each credit card has a $250 minimum payment every month. Say, look, you would call them up and say, look, I can't afford right now to give you $200. Can I give you $100 a month? And see if the bank is willing to work that out with you. Most likely, now if people say, was that going to affect my FICO score? I would think it would, because you're not making the minimum payment now. So I think you could check with them, but I believe it's going to affect your credit score. Check with them just to verify. Don't take my word for it, but I believe it does, because they already, you know, it's a revolving credit line, and they set you up for that amount every month based on your balance. So you might want to find out prior to doing that, okay? If you can swing it, you may sweat it out every month or whatever. You say, well, no, I'm not going to go to any debt consolidation programs. I'm going to try to do it on my own. I'm making enough money to do it. All right, well, that's fine. This video is for people who are straddled in debt and they don't have enough money. You know, here's the thing. If you're a family of 4 and you got 2 kids, married couple, stuff like that, and you have credit card debt, and it's either credit card debt to pay your credit cards off, or you want to put food on the table, I think you're going to want to put food on the table. I know I would. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, to alleviate some of that stress, you may want to, like I said again, call up the credit card companies and ask that they'll work a payment plan with you. Is it going to affect your FICO score? I believe it is, but double check before you make any commitments like that. Or you could always check into these companies here. Okay, apparently, according, now this is their reviews, not mine, and this is for May 15th. This is today. I printed it. I went out to this website today. This is today. They're the ones that they picked out. This company picked out National Debt Review. You could also check out the Better Business Bureau too, to make sure that they are good, if they have any complaints against them. Okay, you know, and then it goes down here to tell you the reviews and stuff like that. You know, and you can read it for yourself. You're not committed right now, but if you do decide to consolidate your bills, and if it's affordable and it works for you, then you may want to try it out. You may want to try it out, folks. This is how I was one time when I lost my job. I'm looking at this picture of this guy. That's how I felt. And yes, I did have debt with credit cards, and thank God it took me years to get rid of them, and I'm so happy I did. And believe me, you guys are going to be happy too. You'll be cheering when you get that debt-free thing and saying, I'm out of debt, no more debt. You're gonna love it, believe me. You're going to be so happy when you get rid of all that debt, believe me. Let's go over here. Well, not this one. This is the next one we got over here. That's the movie that's coming up. I'm going to show you that in a second here. This one here, it says over here, what repaying your credit debt, what repaying your debt will cost you in retirement calculator. Now, for older people, and I'm getting there, I'm not no spring chicken, but I ain't 100 years old either. You might want to check this website out. It's Get Out of Debt Guy. I just came across it like that, and you may want to check it out. It's called getoutofdebt.org, and for people that are getting ready to retire, to see how much money that you're going to need, you know, that's going to cost you to retire. And again, you don't want to have credit card debt when that time comes. Okay, nobody's going to want debt. And let me tell you something. Again, when you're on a fixed income like Social Security, you're going to need that additional money. If you're paying, like if you have debt, a credit card debt at a certain age, at that age, your retirement age, and you're paying $200-300 a month, that's going to hurt. You're going to feel it, especially if it's a low Social Security that you got coming in. Believe me, it's going to hurt, because you know you're going to need bare necessities. You know, your food, whatever, depending where you're living and stuff like that. There's so many factors into it, and this is the problem, folks. People are not planning. They're not planning, and that's why I can't stress it enough. I myself, you know, are recalculating my spending. Well, like I said, I don't have any credit card debt as far as my 2 little credit cards. I have the well, not any credit cards, secured MasterCard, and I have my other card, my debit card, which comes out of my bank account. So I really don't have credit card debt per se. So, but I'm trying to say, for those who are into it, especially if you're getting close to retirement age, folks, please, I can't stress enough, pay off your debt before you retire. Don't go into debt. Don't go retire, put in for retirement, and you're gonna have a lot of credit card debt. Believe me, it's gonna affect you. You're gonna feel it later on. I'm telling you. So you might want to check that out. Next one here. Keep going to this guy again. This one here is Unbury Me. Unbury Me, whatever. This is not what I owed. This, you see over here, I said rich test. I just did this here. You could go to this one here. It's called Unbury.me, whatever. It should be .com. I don't know how that got like that, but it's a loan calculator. And what you do is you would type in your amount. I made a fictitious amount here. And these are all fictitious numbers. Well, the interest and the rate is here. And I want to see how long will it take me at $221 a month to pay off this $10,000 loan. Okay, it's going to take 5 years. Now, depending. Now, here's the thing: if you say, "Well, I'm young enough, so in 5 years I'll grin and bear it. I'll pay it off in 5 years with $221." Suppose you're not a spring chicken and you're an older person, your late 70s, whatever, and you got debt. Hopefully, you don't have that kind of debt. You would drop this down and say, well, I got to get to a payment where it's gonna be a little more affordable. So you drop this down. Let's see if I can get this to go down now. Look at the numbers over here. They usually change. If I can get it to go down, it's very. This thing is very. See, the numbers go up. The years will shorten with the amount of money going up. But I know they had this down to. I can't get it now. Where it was down to like $100. But anyway. I'll zoom it up. If you pay it like that, of course, you pay that kind of money, you'll have it paid off over here in 5 months. See, look at the debt-free in here. You'll be debt-free in 5 months. So it all depends on how much money you're putting down over here. Okay. Again, if you're paying at $241, you'll have it paid off again within 5 years. So March 23rd, you will have your bill paid. The interest will be $3,751. That's the part that hurts. Ugh, just the interest alone is enough. Now, I know there's people out there going to say, wait a minute. I hear credit cards, you can get them with 0% interest for 2 years to have. That's great. Are you going to pay that debt off in 2 years? Or you're just going to use it to, cut back on the interest rate? In other words, you're getting like a get out of jail pass here. So in other words, you say, well, for 2 years, I don't have to pay that 14%. I'll get 0. Okay, so what happens? You pay it off. And then what happens? It goes back, and then it's going to go back to that amount again after 2 years, and you still got a debt line, you still got credit line. To me, it doesn't work that way. Check into this here, folks. This will give you an idea. And let me tell you something else, folks. The people that do pay off their cards, you're watching those movies. Some people refinance their houses to pay your credit card debt. And you know what happens, folks? What do you think happens? I'll give you a guess. They go out after they clear all their debt, and then they go out and spend again. And then the fictitious cycle starts all over again. Please, don't do that. All right, please don't do that. All right, so that's the other one. We're going to close that out, and you can check that out. It's the Unbury.me, whatever. I'm surprised I have a .com there. Well, actually, I pulled this off of Frugal things there. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I keep going back here again. Okay, now Frugal for Less, I have no affiliation with them. I like them because I call myself the Frugal Entrepreneur. Now you could sign up for their mailing list if you'd like, and like I said, if you join our mailing list to find out more ways to make and save save money with a little time and effort. You could put your email address up here, subscribe, and you'll be getting notifications from them. Frugal for Less. This one here is 15 ways to pay off your credit card debt. Okay, now. You go down. I can't get rid of this thing here, I don't think, folks. I think it'll always pop up. I'm sorry about that. Those AdSense things here. It'll show you over here what's the best rated debt relief company. National Debt Relief. I think that was on the other page too. Here it says, are you buried under a mountain of credit card debt? If so, you're not alone. One recent report says American households have an average of $16,425 in credit card debt and pay the average interest rate of 18.76 annually. Plug in those numbers into a credit card minimum payment calculator, and you get some really depressing news. With minimum payments of 3%, it would take you 24 years to get to zero, and you had paid $17,541 in interest alone. Okay? See what I'm saying, folks? You see what I'm getting at? Please, I can't express it more. I'm not. If you could do yourself a favor, get one credit card for yourself, right? With a minimum, a low monthly, a low credit line. And people say, well, how low? I don't know, $1,500, maybe $1,000. People say, are you kidding? We like to travel. We need something at least 10 or 15. Well, then, folks, good luck, because it won't be long before that card will hit that maximum credit line. Okay? Good luck. That's all I can tell you. Do what you want. I'm just sharing my story with you guys. If you could do it, kudos, more power to you. Anyway, this information is from Frugal for Less. It's frugalforless.com, and you can type in there. If you go to the homepage, it might bring you right up there. 15 ways to pay off your credit card debt. Okay. Now, when you scroll down here, it'll show you. It'll tell you little things. Split your payments. Okay. So, for example, if you could afford $300 on a credit card each month, pay twice, $150. And the sooner you make the first payment, the better. Okay. So this is what they're trying to tell you. You could do it that way here. Here's another one. Budget more for debt repayment. Okay. The most obvious way to reduce your debt load is to put more money towards the goal. If you haven't budgeted for a debt repayment, do so. Okay. Again, this information is coming from these people here, not me. So just to let you know, allocate expenses, expense money towards debt. Okay, and then it goes on to talk about it. All right. It says over here for this one here, for example, let's say you find ways to knock $30 per month off your utility bills, change the thermostat, turn the light off, let the grass die of thirst, etc. That's $30 more that you could apply towards a debt each month. You see, this is like at the extreme, but you see how people think? They're giving up one thing for another to suffice another. And you want to know something else, folks? You want to know another way to get yourself out of debt? What really cracks me up, and again, and if you're going to leave comments, don't leave any nasty comments what I'm about to say. You're talking to a person who's frugal, who wants to save money, who wants to have money in the bank and not allocate it out to different people. Get rid of your cable. If you have, like these companies that have Cyrus phone service, Cyrus radio service, where for your car, where you could listen to it and you pay monthly for it. Get rid of that stuff, folks. What's wrong with free TV and free radio? Why do you got to pay to listen to a radio in your car? Why do you got to pay to watch TV? Right? Is it really worth it? I know people right now that have cable and they're paying close to $300-400 a month for cable. For cable. You know what that comes out to a year? Do the math, folks. Do the math. Right? $400 a month times 12 comes out to be $4,800 a year. A year. You know what I could do with $4,800 a year? I could do a lot with it, believe me. Okay? If I did want to go traveling, that's one way to allocate money to travel. Believe me. And the other thing is, folks, if you could afford it, and you're a person that likes to lease cars every 3 or 4 years, think about that, folks. Especially if you're getting close to retirement age. You might want to buy yourself an economical car. If you got a good credit score, you go to a car dealer, get yourself a nice economically priced car. Let's say you get one. I like Kias, right? The Kia product I like. Let's say you're going to lease a new Kia out. You put so much. Or leasing is one thing. I'm talking about buying. Let's say your payments come to $200 a month, right? You bought a car for, I don't know, maybe it's a pre-owned car, and your payments are $200 a month. You're talking $2,400 a year, but you're getting a car that you own. And hopefully within 5 years, you'll have that car paid off. And once it's paid off, as long as you maintain it, the car's good, it's not a rust bucket, keep it. Why keep going out buying cars every year? Why be in perpetual debt? I get a kick when I hear people saying, oh, every 4 or 5 years I want to get a brand new car, I want to lease a new car out. Can I tell you something, folks? I know somebody that's leasing an expensive car out, okay? and it's costing them $600 a month. That's not counting insurance. Okay, listen to me. I'm telling you, they're leasing an expensive car. Lease, not buying, lease. $600 a month, not counting insurance. Okay, God knows what the insurance is going to be on the car. Do you know what their yearly payment for that car is to have that car? $7,200. Okay, $7,200 a year for a car. Now you add that with your what do you call it there? Cable bill, right? You're talking what? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, almost $12,000 a year for two things that are not necessary. This is how people get themselves in debt. Now, a lot of people may bake the difference and say, well, listen, man, you're frugal. I'm not. And I'm going to spend it. I'm making it. I'm going to spend it. Well, go for it then. I wish you all the best. But let me tell you something, people. Today, we all live in a society. We all have a job. We all live, we're all working for these companies. And we never know from day to day when there's going to be a layoff. And when that layoff comes around and you're sitting there, hopefully you got a nice severance package. And when you're sitting there trying to find a job, if you have to take a job where you're not making that money like you used to be, you got to downgrade your pay, you're going to feel it, folks. Believe me. I know. I've been there. Like that old saying, been there and done that, that's me. Okay? I know. And I tell you something, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I would never want to go through that ever again as long as I live. Okay? So folks, do what you want. If you could do it, you got the money to do it, more power to you. I wish you all the best. Enjoy. But for me, to spend $12,000 a year on a car and with cable, I could think of better things to do. Like put that towards my kid's college fund. Okay? Put it away for a rainy day. Let's say the oil burner breaks in the house, so you have to have a new roof put on there on your house. You know how much those things cost? They're not hundreds these days. They're thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay? So I'd rather put that money in for, like I said, for my kids' college tuition. That's what I'd rather do. Well, rather than spending money every 4 years, 5 years on a car to pay, just to go leasing a car out. I'd rather have that money. I could put that money away. In time to come, that money will grow. You do the math. Let's just say you round it off to $10,000 a year you're saving. In 5 years, you got 50 grand. That 50 grand, you could put it towards your kids' college tuition. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things you could do with that money. Or just keep it on reserve. Keep it as an emergency fund. Or you could implement that towards your retirement. I'm serious. And the other thing too, I think is a waste of money, again, cell phone bills. I know a person that's paying over $200 a month just for cell phones. Right? Prime example. I have prepaid. I'm with T-Mobile. Every 90 days, I just put $10 on there, and I have 35 minutes worth of talk time. Okay? Now people say, yeah, but that's good for you. I can't. 35 minutes. I'll eat that up in 2 seconds. Well, my phone is for emergency purposes. I don't need the Wi-Fi. I don't need to have a phone that has the whole service where I can connect to the internet, because when I go out to the stores, most stores have free Wi-Fi in them. Panera Bread, Walmart, Dunkin' Donuts, the thrift stores I deal with, they all have Wi-Fi. I don't need a paid service. Why use a paid service when I'm getting it for free? And then the other thing say, yeah, well, Wi-Fi is unsecured. Listen, I've been using it now for years. Thank God I never have been hacked. I never had any problem with it. Okay? It's up to you, folks. I'm just trying to tell you ways to save money. You do what you want. Let's keep going down here. Use emergency money. If you have an emergency fund, you can call. You can use all or part of it to repay your debts. All right. If you regularly add to your emergency savings, you can use all or part of again the money towards your debts instead. Whatever. Okay. These are ideas to help you with your debt. Create new income to pay down your debts faster. Okay. Let's see what it's saying over here. Let's say, for example, if you work in a tip position, using your strategy to increase your tips, you might add an extra $40 a week to pay without adding work hours. That's $2,000 annually, $2,080 annually. Okay. Or there's another one, create a stream of passive income. You have to click the hyperlink on. Or rent out a room in your home to generate extra $5,000 annually. That could put a dent. In your debt quickly. Well, if you got a private entrance and you want to do that, yeah, that's a good idea, you know. Apply found money towards debts. Okay, if you get a big tax refund, a cash gift, a cash gift from a parent, or a big slot machine payout, you might want to have a party or take a vacation. All right, but you will enjoy the activity. But you'll enjoy those activities so much when you are debt free. Okay, so just put any found money towards credit cards balances. Okay, sell your stuff. Okay, and it tells you about the stuff to sell. You could probably, most likely, it says use Craigslist to sell large items for top dollar. Have a rummage sale. Sell the rest and ask your family and friends to contribute to their extra stuff for the sale to help you out. Pay high interest debts first. If you owe money on several credit cards, pay the minimum on all except the one with the highest interest rate. Allocate as much as possible paying off the high rate card. Once it's paid off, focus on your next card with the highest rate, and so on. Use a PIF card to avoid interest charges. Okay, when you pay for something with the card that has a balance, from month to month interest charges started immediately. Okay, it says if you use a card that was paid off at the time the last statement was due and you're paying it off again when due, there is no interest charges. That's what I was talking about. If you pay off your card in full, that's what that is, I believe. You won't. If you're a person, let's say you spend $100 on a credit card. You went to the store, you went to Macy's or whatever, you bought it. Right? And I'm not talking using a Macy's credit card. I'm talking using your own bank card. And you spend $100 on it. When that bill comes in, if you had that $100 to pay it off, you got no interest because you paid it in full. That's what this is all about. Stop using your cards. Should you adopt an all-cash strategy to keep you out of the trouble? That depends, right? Okay. Again, if you do have cash to use, that's where the secured MasterCard would come in, because that is your cash. And you don't have to carry cash in your wallet. You could use your secured MasterCard. It's your money you're playing with. Okay? I'd rather have a credit card than have loose cash in my pocket, because, I mean, how many times I found money on the floor and stuff like that. I feel sorry for the people that lost it, but, you know, if you're not careful with your money, you could end up losing it. Credit cards, at least, well, with a credit card, you could always call it in and say it was stolen or lost. But once money's lost, it's lost. The other thing is request lower interest rates. Now, I inquired about this here at the time, and because I couldn't make the full payments on my credit cards, the credit card, even my own credit bank, the credit union, could not offer me that, because the credit bureau, when the credit card company reports it to the credit bureau that you're not paying the full amount, again, I believe, if I'm not mistaken with the person, the lady said, it does affect your credit score. I, on the other hand, was not able to reduce my interest rate. I couldn't do it. They wouldn't do it because of my situation, my circumstances. Well, I lost a job. I couldn't make the full payment. What am I going to do, right? But that is a thing. That's another option. You could ask and they could see if they can request it. But remember this, folks. When they do, they're most likely going to check your credit report again. So keep that FICO score good. Keep your payments coming. As long as you're prompt and you make your payments by the due dates, you'll be okay. Move your debt to better cards. Okay. Now here's the ones I was talking about earlier. For example, I write this Chase Slate offers no fee balance on transfers for 15 months at 0 interest. Okay. If you transferred $5,000 balance to that card, from one that's charging you 18% interest, you could save hundreds of dollars in interest for the first year. But remember, folks, this is not long term. You only got 15 months. After 15 months, it goes back to whatever the bank is going to charge you, whatever they're going to charge you, that bank is. Okay? I believe that's what happens. It reverts back to whatever their prevailing interest rate is. Be careful. If you're going to do this short term, and you say, oh, well, I'm definitely going to go for this, I know I'm going to have this balance paid off within 15 months, go for it. Okay? The other one, get a debt consolidation loan. You got a lot of credit cards? Do a debt consolidation loan. See what it's all about. Check into it first. Don't jump into it, don't, like they all say, don't put the cart before the horse. Check it out. Make sure you know what you're doing first before you get into this here. Find out, if I get into a debt consolidation loan, is it going to affect my FICO score? Is it going to hurt me, is it going to hurt my credit in any way? Get all the details down. Read the fine print. Okay? Check them out. Always check. All right? Make sure. Then the other one is get your debt reduced. If you can raise enough cash, the credit card companies will sometimes discount your balance you owed as long as you pay in full. Generally, they have to believe that they're better off taking a reduced payoff than gambling on collecting for all future payments. In other words, the way I understand this is if you settle with the banks, that's what it sounds like. Okay? If you settle with the banks, that's how that would work. But here's the thing now, folks. Let me explain something to you. Again, I don't mind sharing this information because that's what I'm all about. I had a thing like that with a bank. I'm not going to tell you the bank who I had it with, but I had it with the bank. And I had to, I couldn't make the payments they wanted. So rather than going to collections and all other stuff, we didn't do a debt consolidation. And they didn't lower the interest rates. They didn't have any particular plan. The plan that came up with this bank that came up with was to settle. Now, depending what you're settling on, that will be reported on your credit reports. Okay, all three of them are going to pick it up: TransUnion, Equifax, and oh my God, Experian. Okay, now here's what happens. If it's a large sum, that goes when your tax time comes. You will get a notification, if I'm not mistaken, from the bank. I think they will notify the IRS that that is now goes as cash. It goes as income. So if you are a person, I'm just throwing a fictitious number out there. Let's say you had, I don't know, a $10,000 loan out there. No, or let's say you had a $12,000 or $13,000 loan, whatever it is, and you settled for less than that. Let's say you settled. Let's say you say, well, I can't pay the $10,000. Will you take $3,000? The bank takes it. These are fictitious numbers. I'm just throwing them out there. The bank takes that. Now that gets written off. The bank will write that as a loss, if I understand. But now that $10,000 that you had got written off, or they settled for, the bank reports that, I believe, to the IRS, and now that goes as income. So let's say you're a person making $90,000 a year. That balance that was on the credit card that you settled with the bank for goes as income, and now it just boosted you up to $100,000. Okay, now that's the way I understood it from the accountant. Okay, it goes as income because you settled, and that's the way I understand it. Now, if things have changed, or if I am a little off key here, for people who are aware of this here, you want to let me know and enlighten me, please do. But that's the way I understand it. Okay, because I had to make a settlement, not that much, but I had to make a settlement with the bank, and the additional money that was not, that the bank settled on, was as noted as income. And on my IRS, when I do my taxes on my 1040 form, I had to put that money that was settled for with the bank as income. So if I'm wrong, if people are saying, well, I think you're wrong, check into it for yourself. You got an accountant, and they'll tell you the same thing, because this is what I was told. And not only that, I know because I experienced it. Okay, so that's when they say get your debt reduced. I believe what they're referring to is here. It sounds like it. Here, it says over here. Oh, here we go. I'm over here speaking. It's right here. It says you should also know that forgiving a debt is usually taxable as income. There you go. I didn't even read this here. Okay. All right, here. Now let's use their example. For example, if you're a card issuer and agrees to take $3,000 on a payment on a full $5,000 balance, you will probably have to pay tax on $2,000 that was forgiven. Okay, there you go. I didn't even get a chance to read this because I'm looking at my notes here. I didn't even look at the screen. Here it is right here in black and white. So see, all right, I was right in that respect anyway. I didn't even take this because I'm looking down right now. I'm scrolling the page, but I'm also looking at my notes here because I'm trying to, I want to try to stay focused on this. Okay, so there you go. And the last one is attack the debt from every angle. It says over here, sure, you can use one of those strategies to pay off your credit card debt more quickly, but why stop with one or even two strategies? Why not use as many of them as you can to really speed up the process? For example, if you imagine, sell everything that you don't need, put the money towards your debt, use your tax refund to pay off your highest interest card, reduce your expenses and apply the money saved towards debts, work an extra day each month and use your earnings for debt payments. Convince one credit card issuer to lower your interest rate. Find one or more sources of income for you to use in your debt repayment. Okay, and it's just think how fast your debts will be paid if you could do all of these things. Look, this is what I'm trying to say, folks. You see what I'm saying? Look at the things people are doing, or need to do, or have to do. You become a slave to your credit card companies. Okay, I mean, you got to start doing stuff like this here, working an extra day, cutting this out to save this money to buy that or do this. And why? You don't have to do that, folks. Nobody has to live like that. You don't have to. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. Please, this video may not be something that, you know, you might say, I don't think it's that great importance. Okay, if it's not, then you might not want to watch the rest of this here. But for those who are interested, please, okay, listen to what I'm telling you. Last line I like right here. If you had paid off your credit card debts, please share your story below and keep it frugaling. Mr. Frugal, that's me. I'm a frugal entrepreneur. All right, enough on that. Go here, folks. Check this out. It's frugalforless.com. And if you can't find it, I think it's on the homepage. If not, just type in 15 ways to pay for your credit card debt. It should bring you to Frugal for Less. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the beginning of these clips here, of these things here. I'll drop the links below for you to check them out. I encourage you to watch them, take notes, even though you say it's old news. Believe me, old news sometimes can be good news in certain cases. Get an idea how the credit card companies work. I'm not watching the whole thing because they're over an hour long, okay? They're about an hour long. They're not over an hour, about an hour long. I'm just going to play the beginning of it. I'm going to have to mute my mic because you'll get feedback and you get outside noises. Listen to the beginning of it, the interest. I will drop these links below for you to check it out, okay? Let me go over here. And I got to get to where it is. Okay, now you might have a little more at the beginning here. I'm going to mute my mic, and then I'm going to shut it. I'm going to turn my mic back on, and I'm going to pause the film, and then we'll go to the other one, and then we'll take it. And you're going to notice in this video, you're going to see the Boston Senator Elizabeth Warren. Back then in these videos, she was the Hofstra law professor, okay, and now she's the Boston Senator. She's a Massachusetts Senator. So here we go, folks. Check it out. I'm going to mute my mic. Here we go.
Frontline is made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. With major funding from the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, helping to build a more just world. And additional funding from the Park Foundation, committed to raising public awareness. With additional funding for this program from the Nathan Cummings Foundation.
Tonight on Frontline, the average American family has 8
0% for life on transfer balances.
credit cards. Plastic money have become both a necessity and a ticket to a better life.
Hawaii!
A credit card is an extraordinary, unbelievably great convenience for the consumer.
But the credit card industry plays by its own rules.
I don't know any merchant in America who can change the price after you've bought the item, except a credit card company.
Credit card banks earn record profits.
MB&A's profits last year, 1.5 times that of McDonald's.
Well, McDonald's didn't do too well last year.
But the profits come at a price.
Now they've raised my rate to 19.98, and I have not been late ever.
There are irritated, unhappy, dissatisfied customers in this industry.
They are the new loan sharks in America.
I certainly didn't imagine that someday we might have ended up creating a Frankenstein.
Frankenstein? What do you mean, Frankenstein?
Tonight, in this 2004 report, Frontline correspondent Lowell Bergman and the New York Times investigate the secrets of your credit card.
All right, there you go. You're seeing the original broadcast here, November 23rd, 2004. But folks, listen to me. Watch this video, this documentary. I'm going to show you one more opening for the other one. That's the card game. I believe Elizabeth Warren's in both of them. Watch it. Watch both of these videos. You have nothing to do. Take control of your credit card debt, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll be better off in years to come. For those who follow me or take the advice I'm giving you for what it's worth, which I hope it's good. Maybe one day, not now, you may thank me later on. You may say, you know, I'm glad you introduced me to those movies. I'm glad you took the time to explain a little, talk about yourself. Because of you, I'm in a better situation I am now than I was 4 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. Take the initiative, and please, be yourself. Keep your credit card debt down as low as you can, and if you could get rid of it altogether, do it. This one here, folks, is the card game. This was broadcasted on November 24th, 2009. I'm going to mute my mic again here. I'm going to get this right over there. I'm just going to let you, you're going to see the introductory, and then I'm going to close out the video. I'm going to come on and after and close out the video. Here we go. Let me just move over here.
Tonight on Frontline, for 30 years, Americans have played a game with the banks holding all the cards.
Changing the terms, raising interest rates, changing the rules of the game.
Consumers use plastic for 100,000 transactions a minute. It has produced billions in profits and nearly $1 trillion in debt.
Americans simply cannot pay back the level of debt that has grown over the last 30 years.
And the credit card industry even played a hand in the economic meltdown.
We had consumers refinancing their homes to pay off all their credit cards.
Apply now.
And then they went back out and built their credit cards back up.
Now, as credit card losses are piling up, the government is stepping in.
We need to fix the rules, make them tougher, with a simple, clear, single mission to protect consumers.
Why hasn't there been credit card legislation to control some of these abusive practices? Why did it take a near depression?
Lobbying power.
Tonight on Frontline, correspondent Lowell Bergman and the New York Times investigate the battle over the card game.
Okay, folks, there you have it. I'm going to bump out of here. Check it out. I don't know how long this video is, folks. I'm kind of scared to look at the timeline. I don't have my little counter here. But if you guys could watch this video to this part here, if you don't, you know, you could always, if you want to watch it again, you could just bypass everything I said and just go right to the videos and watch them yourself. I just hope you guys get something out of these videos. I really do put my heart and soul trying to get these videos out to people to try to help out in any way I can. Some of you may get a takeaway from it, some may not. Some may just say, yeah, you know what, it's credit card debt, I'll deal with it. That's okay. I watch a lot of documentaries, and I try to follow up on the economics and stuff like that, what's going on with the with the economy and stuff. And a lot of people feel that we're in good times and stuff like that. And yeah, the interest and the employment rate is low and stuff like that, and no doubt about it and stuff. But I always feel that there's always that little surprise that comes when you least expect it, and sometimes it's not a good surprise, folks. When I worked for the companies I worked for, I really loved those jobs. I put my heart and soul into them. I really did. I used to get there in some cases a half hour, 45 minutes early, just to set up and get swayed away. My thing is, I tell my kids it's always good to get early, and I tell my daughter, like, Dad, I'm not gonna get to work a half hour, 40 minutes early. I get there 10, 15 minutes early is good enough for me. I go, all right, well, that's you and I'm me. I'm older than them as well. And I look at things a little different. And the reason why I did it, folks, is because I really appreciated being at these jobs. Unfortunately, I gave all to the company, And people say, well, what did it get you? You still got laid off. You still went through 2 layoffs, 1 company bankrupt. What can I say? It's just the way the wheel of fortune turns sometimes. Sometimes we're dealt cards and we're not dealt always the good hand, but these things happen in life. And that's why I'm sharing this video. And I'm hoping and appealing to people out there that they can get something from it. And I don't know who you are out there, but if you could feel what I'm coming from, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart to people, I can't go out and broadcast in the street or have like a little seminar. I mean, I guess I could do something like that, but I'm not a financial, analyst or a statistician. I'm just basing my own experiences off what I went through. Okay, it's like you got a person that they like going to you're an apprentice. You're learning carpentry, and you're not a carpenter, but you're learning from a carpenter. You're an apprentice. That's who I am. I'm learning from my own. I'm learning from my own experiences, But it doesn't make me an expert. I'm not an expert in any way, size, shape, or form. The information I'm sharing with you guys is, based on my own opinions and stuff. Now you might say, well, so what are you telling me? I shouldn't listen to what you're saying, or, I can't advise you what to do. I'm sharing my own case. Like I said, this is my own situation. And I'm just putting it out there for you guys, and I do hope you get a takeaway from it. And when that day comes, folks, when you do become debt free, and you're sitting there cheering yourself on, yeah, I paid my bills, I got no more credit card debt, you're going to be very happy. Believe me, it's because it's like taking a weight off your shoulder. Trust me, I'm telling you. Knowing that you don't have a credit card bill every month to come in, especially as you get older. You don't want to have debt. Believe me, you don't want a credit card debt. I'm not saying, folks, I'm not anti-credit card debt, credit card. Like, so you're saying you should never own a credit card? No, I have a friend like that, though. He doesn't own any credit cards. He pays everything by cash, and he loves it. And if you tell him, oh, would you get a credit? No, I don't want any credit cards. I don't want no credit cards. He's afraid of them. He feels like you become trapped. You become enslaved to the credit card company. And it's true. You do. And watch those videos. Even though you say they're old, they're old, 204, 209, but I believe, I can't say for sure, but I think the credit card companies still adhere to those policies or their ways in those videos, the way those videos portrayed in those documentaries, not videos, but documentaries. I believe they can do that. They can, ante up the interest rate without giving you a heads up, I don't know, but then again, I don't know. Things may have changed. Now, in the video, you'll see President Obama there at the time, because he was in office at that time. He was signing something to change all of that. And I think that's when Elizabeth Warren came into the picture, too. Now, if you watch both of those movies, I believe, I know she's in the first one, Secret History of Credit Card. She's in there and she talks about it. Now, remember, back then, she was a Hofstra law professor. Okay, she taught law, I believe, contract law, I think she says. Now she is the U.S. Senator, Massachusetts Senator, right? So, listen to what she's saying. And I believe she had something to do with the credit card companies. And I see it, even though I have bills, you'll see it. If you make the monthly payment, I think it's right under the line where the interest is, where the payment, where the amount of money is. I think it says right there's a little tagline. If you make this amount of money, the minimum payment, on this loan, whatever, it will take you X amount of years to pay it off. And again, if you're a person that's in your late 50s or 60s and you got a high credit card debt, and it's going to say it'll take you 20 years, I will be so old. Well, old enough. You know what I'm saying? Who's to say I'm going to be around for the next 20 years? I don't know. Like that saying goes, tomorrow's promised to no man. You go to sleep, you might not wake up again. Right? I mean, think about it. I mean, we're not guaranteed to be here today, tomorrow, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Well, there is a guarantee, death and taxes. And that's the other thing too. We're betting up, we gotta pay all these taxes and stuff in general. And then let alone have more credit card debt involved with it. That's why I get a kick sometimes when you hear these companies saying, I don't know if it's a credit card, I'm quite sure I heard it. If you owe a tax bill, use your credit card to pay off your tax bill. I know there are a lot of people in different circumstances, folks. I really know that there, and you know it's sad. It really is. I wish and I hope that this message, you know, if you could like, share with other people. If you don't want them to hear my whole story, you could just, you know, share those videos with them at least. Just give them the links if you don't want to watch this. You know, you don't have to tell them to watch my whole video, my life story, whatever. But you can maybe give them the links, you know, or the websites, and just say, hey, you know, this is what I was watching this guy's video, and this is what he said. And folks, I just want to also let you know something too. You know, you can take it for what it's worth. You can believe me if you don't want to believe. That's totally up to you. I make these videos not to gain subscribers or because I'm looking for, you know, notoriety, whatever. I'm doing these videos because I enjoy helping people out. And you want to know something else? And I'm going to prove it to you right now. You know, if you don't know, for those who are on YouTube, you know, I used to be in the YouTube partner program. I am no longer, because they changed their rules there, so to speak. Okay. The way it works, in order to be monetized, I'm not making the money off this channel, as you know. If you don't know, I'm telling you. In order to make money off of YouTube, well, at least whatever, if you want to understand, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, and you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time. I have neither. Look at my subscribers, and that'll prove it to you. I'm not lying to you guys. Okay? What do I got? 227. The other day, yesterday was 226. There was 227. I don't have 1,000 subscribers. So I'm not lying. I'm not sugarcoating anything, throwing it out there to make you people out there say, oh, well, this guy's doing it because he wants to monetize his channel. No, regardless, I'm not monetized. I'm still doing videos. And people say, well, that's why you do videos, because you're hoping to get it to monetize. No, it ain't. I'm doing videos because I want to help people out. This is the only way I know how to do it, through YouTube. You put it out there, and hopefully thousands and thousands of people will watch it and get something off it. And whether they want to subscribe or not, that's totally up to them. Would you like to be informed of when I bring new stuff into the picture? You know, like I come out with new things. Yes. Would I want you to subscribe? Absolutely. Would I want to have 1 million subscribers? Absolutely. Would I want to have 100 million subscribers? Absolutely. You know, there's no money involved with this channel right now. There ain't. And you know, people say, well, maybe that's what you. Well, I'm not gonna lie. If this thing could ever take off, where I could make a living off of YouTube, doing something I love, my passion, making videos and helping people out, and if I was getting rewarded by, you know, making an income off it, why not? I'm not doing anything to hurt anybody. You know, all I'm trying to do is share information with you guys. That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing a video because I want to waste your time. And if I hope you don't feel it's a waste of time. If you do, I really do apologize. But it's not meant to waste your time, honestly. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna, you know, close this video out. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I'm sorry if it's too long. I apologize. But I just wanted to share this stuff with you. I will talk to you guys in the next video. My name is Rich Pasini. My website is Rjpasini.com. I also go by Shop RJ Pasini for great deals on eBay. However, I will drop the links below. I will drop also the information for those channels within the other links. So you're going to have to probably scroll down. I'm sorry. I know I don't want to start deleting stuff and all that. So just scroll down to where you see those Frontline, and yeah, they're both, I think we're both Frontline videos. Copy and paste the links or click the links and I'll take you to the movies. If you don't get anything out of the stuff I'm talking about, at least watch the videos. It'll give you a little more insight to let you know how credit card companies are working. I have nothing against the credit card companies. I really don't. Hey, I used them. I got myself into a bind, but it wasn't through my fault. Job losses. You know, things happen. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Be prepared. Think. Always think logically before you whip that card out. Before you sit there saying, I'm going to buy that new camera. I'm going to buy that iPhone. I'm going to buy this. And you keep inflating that credit card. Think about it. Anything is possible. Anything. You know, you could work on a job and God forbid you can get disabled. You collect workman's comp. You're not collecting your full pay, whatever. I don't know how that exactly works. Like I never had that, but or you get laid off, or your job cuts your hours down, or they're downsizing, or maybe you're taking a cut in pay to keep your job. You know, there's so many variables out there, and with those variables comes a lot of indecisive decisions. You know, you don't know. Then you don't know. Sometimes people know which way to twist the turn. What do I do? You know, what do? You pay your car if you got a car payment. Do you pay your car off, or you pay your credit cards? My suggestion is, if you do have a car loan and you need that car for work, pay the car off. Pay the car monthly. Your monthly payments on the car, because that's what you need to get you to work. You know, you're going to need that unless you're going to start taking the bus, which things could happen. People may have to give up their cars or whatever to pay off, you know, to take the bus, whatever, because they, whatever reason, maybe they can't carry the car payment. But if you have a choice of paying your car off, you know, every month, or you're paying credit cards, and that's not good advice, but I'm just trying to say, me, I think I would want to put the money towards the car, because I'm going to need the car to get to work. Okay, so, you know, I'm just trying to, you know, throw it out there, guys, to you. You know, and this is a sharing and caring video, okay? Because I do care for people. I do care about people, and I do like to share information out there. So I hope it helps. Rich Pasini signing off. It's May 15th, 2018, and this segment, this video, is all about credit card debt. And I hope and pray that you guys, if you are in a situation like that, you'll get out of that debt. And once you get out of it, keep maybe 1 or 2 cards with small credit lines on them. Use them wisely. Buy out of necessity. Don't buy because you say, I want to have it, or I need to have this here. Sacrifice, but think about it. Before you whip that card out, think about all the ramifications that come with it, all the consequences that come with that card, the interest rate, the monthly payments. Think about that. And the other thing you might want to think about, folks, the things that I would cut out, and this is me coming from a frugal guy. Don't get involved with cable channels like Cablevision, you know, paid television, Cyrus Radio, paid radio with Cyrus. And if you could do without a cell phone service, and you want to just get, you know, for emergency purposes, I would go prepaid. At least you know everything is all, it's all segment. You don't need to pay for television. You don't, this cable, what do you need to watch on cable? What did we do before? Here's a prime example. One last thing in closing. What did we do 20, 30 years ago before there was cable? You watch regular TV. Free TV, right? It's free. Put a TV, all right, now they have the digital box, but no big deal. You get yourself a digital antenna, you still get the same channels, right? I watch the basic channels. Over here in New York, we got 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, and then you got 11, 12, and then you got all your other channels that come with it. 13, 21, 25. You got all these different channels that come up. I bought a little cheap digital antenna, and I got a converter box, which the government gave me a coupon for $50. Went to Walmart. I picked up the box. I gave them the voucher for $50. All I had to pay is tax on it. I hooked it up. I bought an antenna for $50, a digital antenna. Hooked it up. Bing, bang, boom. The thing reads all the channels. I get the same channels I had back before we went from analog to digital. Free TV. When I bought my car, they offered me Cyrus Radio. That's an $18 a month charge. I listen to free radio. I don't even hardly listen to radio in the car, to be honest with you. Now, a lot of people may say, well, that's your thing. You know, don't telling everybody what to do. I'm telling you how to save money. Cell phones, if you don't need it, if you don't use it that much, go prepaid. Use the prepaid service. I'm with T-Mobile. Every 90 days, I put $10 on it, and that's it. So for $10, you do the math. Was it 4 times a year I put it on there? Every 3 months, right? Think about it. And in regards to leasing cars out, isn't it better to buy a car and know that within 5 years, depending if you double your payment, if you could make extra payments, whatever, but within 5 years, when you pay that car note off, it's your car. You get a clean title. It's yours. No more car payment. Isn't that nice? Think about it. Think about how much money you could save rather than sitting there saying, Well, I like to have a new car every 4 or 5 years. I'm going to lease a new car out. You know what happens, folks? When you keep with that mindset, you're in perpetual debt. In other words, every 4 or 5 years, you are going to be leasing that car out. And you might say, well, I can afford it. Okay. But suppose you got kids that want to go to college. You're gonna take that money really, and what kind of car are you gonna lease out? I gave you an example about a $600 car. Well, I know someone's leasing a car for $600 a month. Even if it's $300 a month, do the math. See how much it costs, and you don't even own it. That's the thing. You don't even own the car. It's a lease. It's like renting it out. It's like rent a car. It's no different than going to Lake Avis, rent a car, or Hertz, and you're renting a car for $35. What is that? I think $35 a week, whatever it is. It's almost the same thing. The only thing is you got a lease agreement. You got to keep the car in a certain amount of mileage. You got to bring it back with certain things. You got certain little things. I never leased a car, and the only reason why I ended up with a new car was a cheap car, economical car. I bought it new, yes, but it was a cheap car, economical. But I bought it back then when I was working because the other car I had broke down, finally died on me. That's how frugal I am. I had to wait for the car to die before I actually bought another one. But I never owned a new car in all my life. Never owned a new car in all my life. I always sacrificed for my family. The wife would have the car. If anybody was going to get a new car, it'd be the wife or with the kids. I mean, I didn't buy the kids' cars, but I'm saying, but if they needed it, I would sacrifice. I wouldn't buy it myself. I'd let them have it. Then for me, that's the type of person I am. Okay, I don't care about a car right now. I mean, I love my car. It's small, little compact car. It gets me to point A to B, cheap on gas. It's got everything I want with it. And you know what I always say? People that drive around these fancy cars, I live in New York. I see Bentleys around here, Ferraris, Rolls Royces, you name it, I've seen those cars. Mercedes, high-end Mercedes and BMWs. And you want to know what, folks? You know, I used to tell my friend at work, all a car is, and I don't care how much it is a piece of metal on 4 wheels. And you know my other thing I always say? My little cheap car is going to take me to the same place your expensive car is, your $250,000 car. Okay? You could drive around in your $300,000 Ferrari, whatever. You could head to a location. I could head to the same location that my car is going to get. My car is going to get me to the same place your car is. The only difference is you're driving around a $250,000 car with a nice name on it, fancy car. I'm going to end up in the same place you're going to end up. What difference does it make what I'm driving? And like I tell my friend at work, when I'm sitting in my car, it could be anything I want it to be. When I'm sitting behind that wheel, because I don't see the outside. I mean, you see the hood and the trunk. But I'm saying that car could be anything I want it to be. All right, it could be any kind of car I want it to be in my mindset. It could be anything. I don't care about cars. I'm just happy I have a car. I'm grateful to the man above that I'm able to have that car, and that it's economical and gets me where I got to go. What more can I ask? Have a great day, guys. Check out the videos. Please subscribe if you like this video, and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, guys. Check out the if you get a chance. Check out the what do you call it there? The videos. All right. Check out those videos. Well, actually, they're not videos. They're documentaries. Thanks again, guys. Have a great day. I hope this video helps. Bye bye now.